There is a Santa in our local garden centre who's wearing jeans and flip-flops. Hashtag not quite right.
No.
No, I can imagine that's probably true. 4, stage right from the mighty Rick Wakeman, the Meister himself. Hello, Rick, how are you?
Very well indeed, thank you.
Happy Christmas, and you're wearing a cracker hat already.
Yes, I was given a BBC cracker to pull, and I was going to read out the joke.
Oh, you pulled it with Sally, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to read the joke was in it, but there wasn't one. There was just a hat.
It's cutbacks, you know. We can't afford jokes, you know.
But there you go. But the hat's nice.
So this is a tradition. So we did it. We did this last year. We did it once when I was at 5 Live as well.
We did indeed.
And you come in and you have so much festive cheer, and you have so many melodies going in your head, and they're just at the tips of your fingers.
Well, I hope so. It's lovely to come in. In fact, you were late giving me a ring this year, and I actually said to my wife, I don't think he wants me this year.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
And it was literally the day after that I got the message through from him, which was wonderful.
The piano is warmed up.
It is indeed.
Because
Elton's
Elton's piano. Did you? And you've played for Elton, haven't you?
I did. I played the organ on Madman Across the Water on that album because Elton did not like playing the organ. He really didn't like playing the organ, so I went in and did the organ stuff.
But it's been warmed up for you by Ed Balls. Ed Balls was on with Jeremy Vine.
I've heard that. I'm
you
looking.
Put those headphones on.
Yes. I'm going to hear a little bit of Ed Balls' piano.
Would you like to hear that?
I would indeed. Yes.
Okay. Right. So this is Ed Balls using the Elton John piano with Jeremy Vine earlier. What do you think, Rick?
He's a politician, isn't he? Actually, it's amazing the number of politicians who actually play.
Is it?
There's a load of them who actually play. William Hague plays the piano. There's quite a few who play guitar and drums. Steve Pound, the MP for Ealing North, he actually, when I left a band called the Atlantic Blues, he took my place. And he's still the MP up there now. And they have their own band, as you know.
Well, that's enough Ed Balls, I think, for the moment. That was him playing with Jeremy. There's a line running through your head.
There is, but it's afternoon and it's festive time.
Okay, it is festive time. So now that you have lots of festive tunes, but the thing is, you don't just play them straight, Rick. I don't think you've ever played anything straight. You like to add your little extra something. We played your Morning Is Broken with Cat Stevens earlier, just as a reminder of the twiddly bits that you like to play.
I like twiddly bits. I mean, I was fascinated when I started learning as a young kid of the different composers, especially during the Romantic period, who would take a theme from another composer and then play around with it and do variations on it. And I just always thought that was wonderful. So from a very young age, after I'd learned a piece, I used to do my own little variations on it. And I find it very hard to play any piece straight all the way through now. I always end up doing, as you politely put them, my twiddly bits.
Yes. So, it's sort of mucking around, but only people who are very good at it can muck around properly.
Well, I think it's one of those things. If it's in your head and you know where you're going, and hopefully you end up going where you would like to go.
Okay.
Then
well, what's in your head at the moment then?
I thought I'd sort of mix in 2 or 3 sort of festive Christmas tunes, which is a mixture of, I'm going to do a bit of good King Wenceslas, a little bit of Deck the Halls of Boughs of Holly, which you may or may not recognise the way I play it, and then just probably half a bar of Jingle Bells at the end.
Excellent. Okay. So Christmas starts here. Rick Wakeman is in the house. Take it away, sir. Fantastic. Rick Wakeman medley, that can only be, even if you just joined us halfway through, that could only be Rick Wakeman who was putting that
it's
together.
not really a sing-along the way I do it, though, is it really?
No, it was terrific. It was absolutely terrific. What's the Christmas music on in your house then, Rick? What would you tend to put on, if anything?
We get very Christmassy in the car as well. I've got a huge collection of CDs of Christmas music. I love choral music, so I've got a lot of the traditional Christmas hymns and Christmas carols sung by various choirs from all over the country. I've also got quite a few Christmas songs that wouldn't be recognised from different countries I've been to. I always try and pick up, especially choir stuff again, which I put on. I just love the sound of Christmas music. I was talking to Roy Wood the other day. We were doing Pointless Celebrities together, which was great fun, and we were just talking about. Obviously, he has the annual Christmas hit every year, and we just said there is something about Christmas music that puts a smile on your face, whether it's church music or whether it's pop music, whatever it is, it puts a smile on your face.
When I mentioned that you were coming on the show, people get very excited, depending on how old they are and what kind of stuff they remember, particularly. You know, so for example, I got Gary Freeman saying, "Could you ask Rick to do the solo from Sheep by the Straws?" So how far back are we going?
We're going back to 1970, and I think all the sheep have died since then. It was, do you know? I can remember the piece vaguely, but the solo I did on a Moog, which was a single note solo, and I truthfully, hand on heart, I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay, so the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
Tim Russell says, how about either a roundabout solo or Awaken?
Well, Awaken was done on a giant church organ. And much as I appreciate the facilities that you have here,
this is Yes, isn't it? Now?
This was Yes. I mean, you'd need something like 900 pipes and things, but the solo in Roundabout was done on a Hammond. This isn't a Hammond, and also had the band playing away. But the start of it used to go. Steve did a bit, then I did another bit, and then Steve did a bit, and then I did another bit, and then we finished.
And that's it. That's the end of side two.
That was the end of side two.
2.5 hours later.
That was just the intro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now, and just talking of Yes, we were talking when you were rehearsing just before the show.
Yeah.
I brought up the fact that my daughter really wants to go and watch the Eagles next year. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to go and watch the Eagles, and then you said that Yes toured with the Eagles.
We did. When the Eagles first appeared in the 70s, they had such a great reputation. The album was so good, the first album, and especially their vocal harmonies and their tightness. And the agents quite literally couldn't find a band that they could go out with, because most bands said, no, we don't want them anywhere near us. We loved
too
them.
Good.
Yeah, we love them. We said, yeah, come with us. So they came and they supported us for 2 tours. We did about over 120 shows together. And then
that seems like an amazing double bill. Yes, and the Eagles.
And then they went off and obviously headlined their own shows after that. But the very last show we did, they sent a message to say that they'd like us to come into their big dressing room, because they had a surprise for us. And I went in. I was the only one who went in. And the lights were out, and I heard the door close behind me, which is always a bit of a worrying sign. And then the lights went on, and there was 2 big trestle tables, and they were full of custard pies. And it was me versus them, and they won. And the other fortunate thing was we were flying directly to New York after the show, not staying in hotels, because we were flying back to London on the Red Eye, the old Pan Am 10 o'clock Red Eye, Pan Am 100 as it was called then. So I got on the plane completely caked, which had all gone hard, and I stank to high heaven for the entire flight home.
Shame on the rest of the band, though, for not joining in. But Rick versus the Eagles, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it was great fun. I still see him every now and then. Don Felder's a great mate, and see him a lot, and Joe when I saw him. And it's still remembered.
Now, you, and we've mentioned this before, you played on like 2,000 different hit singles, some of which you've completely forgotten.
Not all hits. I wish they were all hits. Some of them weren't. There were some that were slightly less memorable than others.
And you played with Lou Reed, who was buried at the weekend. And
yeah, did his first album with him. That was interesting. He just said, I want you to play as fast as you can. I said, well, anything particular? Fast as you can. So I played as fast as I could, and he said, that's great.
And that was it?
Yes, and I wanted you to play as fast as you can, and you did.
But if we're talking about... earlier we played the Cat Stevens Morning Is Broken, which was you. Do you want to play some... Because Life on Mars is one of the great Bowie songs, and he was a great influence anyway.
Well, he was great influence and a great friend. I learnt so much from David. But when we did Hunky Dory, I mean, I have to do a bit of a confession. A lot of people say to me, Hunky Dory, Life on Mars, you must have worked so hard at the piano arrangement round that song. The actual truth of the matter is David gave me absolute free rein. He said, treat it as a piano solo and play away and I'll get everybody to work round you. So the truth of the matter is I didn't have to do an awful lot of work because I just had to play it, really.
Well, don't do yourself down. So do you want to do... Can you do some Life on Mars for us?
I can remember it, vaguely.
Time to tip the pianist, everybody. Pass the hat.
Pass the hat round.
Hey, look, the great Bob Harris is in the audience.
Hey, Bob!
I didn't tell you that. You might have got nervous beforehand.
Oh,
if I told you Bob was there. That was fantastic.
Bob and I have got some stories going back to Whistle Test, haven't we, sir?
Yeah, but they're not for broadcast now. If you want to go on Bob's show and tell him, then that's fine, because then he can get the blame. It's an after midnight story by the sound of it.
No, it's not actually, but it does involve alcohol.
Simon, I saw Rick at Pinewood Studios at a tribute to John Mills, who was fantastic. Andy and Bolton. Wonderful playing. Loved the Twiddly Bits. Sally Jane in Northants. That could be your next album, Rick's
Twiddly Bits. That's a great name for an album, actually.
At last, Christmas begins. Love the Wakeman. That's Nick. I've just fallen in love with Rick Wakeman. Pity he's married, says Samantha. Simon, I can't help smiling with absolute joy listening to Rick Wakeman. Thank you very much indeed, Jill. And this says, it's Rick's daughter Jem here to say we're all listening and the melody is great and we're enjoying Grandpa Grumpy's music.
Yeah.
Is that what you're called?
The grandchildren call me Grandpa Grumpy.
So you really are the grumpy old man.
I am grumpy. I'm terrible. So they call me Grandpa Grumpy.
Rick, it's always fantastic you're on the show. It's an annual tradition. But next year, let's just mention this because you're off doing Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
Yeah, after all
and
these years.
You're doing it live, not on ice, not with, I don't think.
No, but it's with full symphony orchestra choir.
Have you not learned anything? You're not going to make money if you take a full symphony orchestra and choir.
Yeah, but if you do it on the record, you've got to do it, haven't you? That's sort of like going to see Romeo and Juliet, and only Romeo turns up. You know, so we're doing it with it's all the original plus the missing music that was been missing for years. So it's about a 72-minute long version, full orchestra, full choir, full band. Peter Egan narrating. We've got 14 shows next April and May.
Newcastle City Hall, April 24th through to Llandudno on May the 10th.
Yeah, and with a couple of Albert Halls in the middle, which would be really lovely. It's such a great place to play.
Rick, it's a pleasure to have you on the show as ever. Happy Christmas to you. So, are you in residence in the local parish church?
I shall be. We've done our in the village where I live. We always have a celebration for the village to bring in Christmas, which we had last Monday, which was great. We have the Sally Army Band in, and a lot of people in the village all take part. It's great fun. So we've done that, and we'll just be at the local church on Christmas Eve, which we always do, which is lovely. We're very traditional with our Christmas.
Rick, thank you very much indeed, sir. That was just fantastic, as it is every year. Thank you very much indeed. Rick Wakeman, happy Christmas to you, sir.
And to you. Thank you.
We'll be doing some travel after this.